You can know 1,000 Spanish words and still get completely lost the moment someone starts talking about their family. Let's fix that today.
Look, if you're planning a trip to a Spanish-speaking country, or if you really just want to connect on a deeper level with your new Spanish-speaking friends, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are going to master one of the most important, near and dear topics in literally any language, la familia. I've structured this explainer visually so everything clicks into place like a puzzle. So grab your notebooks, get comfortable, and let's jump right in. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with core family terms and a golden rule of Spanish gender agreement. Then we'll expand our tree generation by generation, tackle those tricky branches like in-laws, and learn exactly how to ask how many using a very special verb. After that, we'll cover names and ages. And finally, we're going to wrap the whole shebang up with the ultimate visual family cheat sheet. All right, part 1, core family and gender agreement. Let's dive right into this foundation, because mastering this now will save you hours of memorization later. Okay, before we even look at individual family members, we've got to clear up the absolute biggest trap for English speakers. Notice this sneaky false cognate, los parientes. I know, it looks exactly like parents, right? But it actually translates to relatives, as in your entire extended family. Let's practice that pronunciation together, giving a nice soft tap to that R, los parientes. If you actually want to talk about your parents, your mother and father, the word is los padres. El padre is father, la madre is mother, and together the plural masculine form los padres encompasses them both. Now, here we have an incredible shortcut. The Spanish is a gendered language, meaning nouns are typically either masculine or feminine. But for family members, you often only need to learn one root word. Take the word for son, el hijo. Remember that H is completely silent, so it's just hijo. If you want to say daughter, you simply flip that terminal O to an A and change the article to la. Boom! Suddenly you have la hija. It's one root word giving you two family members. And this brilliantly illustrates our golden rule again. El abuelo is grandfather. Flip the O to an A and you instantly have la abuela, which is grandmother. Easy, right? And together, if you're talking about both of them, you default back to the masculine plural, los abuelos. This simple O to A flip trick literally cuts your memorization work in half, and we are going to use it constantly as we build out our tree. Section 2, expanding the family tree. Now that we have our golden rule, it's time to build our multi-generational scaffold, working our way from the roots all the way down. Let's trace this family tree layer by layer. At the very top, step 1, we have our great-grandparents. In Spanish, you just add the prefix bis to get los bisabuelos, bisabuelos. Just like before, a great-grandfather is el bisabuelo, and a great-grandmother is la bisabuela. Moving down one generation to step 2, we drop the prefix and we just have our grandparents, los abuelos. And finally, down to step 3, the generation that raised us, los padres, our parents. Notice the beautiful, logical structure of the language here? It just makes sense. So let's quickly run through the extended relatives branching off our core tree. I want you to practice aloud with me wherever you are, applying that O to A flip for each pair. For brother and sister, we have el hermano and la hermana. For uncle and aunt, el tío and la tía. Don't forget to put a little stress on the I there. Your cousins are el primo for a boy and la prima for a girl. And for your siblings' kids, your nephew and niece, you're going to use el sobrino and la sobrina. Look at how beautifully that single linguistic trick unlocks 8 different vocabulary words. Moving right along to section 3, complex branches and in-laws. The core blood relatives follow really predictable patterns, but what happens when families merge? Tracing vines like in-laws can be a bit tricky, but don't worry, we're going to solve this together, like a puzzle. Let's make this active with a quick conversational quiz. ¿Qué nombre recibe el padre de tu esposo o esposa? Literally translated, what name receives the father of your husband or wife? Think about it in English first. That would be your father-in-law. But how on earth do we say this in Spanish? The answer is el suegro. And of course, relying on our trusty rule, the mother-in-law is la suegra. I want you to pay special attention to the pronunciation here. We have a strong we sound followed by a gr. Practice saying it smoothly. Suegro. El suegro, la suegra. Okay, let's try another puzzle to map out these complex branches. ¿Qué nombre recibe el esposo de tu hija? What do you call the husband of your daughter? If we trace it down, your daughter marries a man, and he becomes your son-in-law. Now, pay super close attention to this one because we have a massive rule breaker. Your son-in-law is el yerno, but your daughter-in-law is absolutely not la yerna. It's an entirely different word, la nuera. El yerno and la nuera. These are some of the very few family terms that completely change their roots depending on gender, rather than just using our handy O to A flip. Because they're special exceptions, you've really got to commit these two strictly to memory. To finish out our complex branches, let's talk about blended families. Notice the recurring suffix here, astro or astra. A stepfather is el padrastro, and a stepmother is la madrastra. Stepchildren are el hijastro and la hijastra. A stepbrother is el hermanastro. It's a wonderfully consistent suffix. Oh, and lastly, for twins, Spanish actually has two words. Los gemelos usually refers to identical twins, while los mellizos refers to fraternal twins. And with that, we've completed our entire multi-generational puzzle. Section 4, asking how many. Knowing the words is fantastic, but now we need to put them into conversation to actually ask people about their families. To ask how many relatives someone has, we absolutely must master the highly irregular verb tener, which means to have. This is often called a boot verb because the stem changes in all the forms except nosotros and vosotros, which sort of sit outside the imaginary boot shape. For yo, which is I, it's tengo. For tú, you informal, it's tienes. For él, ella, usted, he, she, or you formal, it's tiene. Nosotros, we, is tenemos. And ellos, ellas, ustedes, they, or you all, is tienen. Internalizing this structure is literally the key that unlocks conversational Spanish. So let's build an actual sentence. Take the question, ¿Cuántos hermanos tienes? This translates perfectly to, how many brothers do you have? But notice a major difference from English here. We completely throw out the word do. There's no translation for the auxiliary do in Spanish. You just ask, how many brothers you have? Also, the question word cuántos must match the gender of the noun. Because hermanos is masculine and plural, it has to be cuántos. If you were asking about sisters, you would say, ¿Cuántas hermanas tienes? Everything in Spanish has to agree. Section 5. Stating names and ages. We are making incredible progress. Let's flesh out the details once you've told someone how many relatives you have. To say his name or my sister, we use possessive adjectives. Mi is my, tu is your, su is his, her, or their, and vuestro is our. Now, the absolutely vital rule here is that the adjective must match the plural nature of the noun it modifies, not the person who owns it. So if I have one brother, I say mi hermano. If I have two brothers, I must add an s to the adjective too, mis hermanos. To say his name is, you say su nombre es. If you're talking about the names of both your parents, it becomes sus nombres son. And finally, we have to talk about age. Let's say your brother is 43 years old. In English, we use the verb to be. We say he is 43. This is a huge trap. In Spanish, you do not be an age, you have years. So bringing back our verb from earlier, we say él tiene 43 años. Literally translated, he has 43 years. Never say él es 43. Always tiene. He has them. And we've made it to Section 6, the family vocabulary cheat sheet. You have done absolutely brilliantly. We've climbed the family tree, mastered in-laws, conquered tenor, and learned to state names and ages. Now, here is your highly anticipated payoff. I want you to go ahead and take a screenshot of this. Direct your eyes down the chart and just marvel at how many words you've mastered today. Notice how effortlessly the simple O to A gender flip trick works for children, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. You can see the distinct terms for in-laws like suegro and yerno right there at the bottom to remind you of the exceptions. I even threw in pets for you, el perro for dog and el gato for cat, because, let's be honest, they are absolutely family too. Let's end with a direct question just for you. ¿Y tú? ¿Cuántas personas tienes en tu familia? And you? How many people do you have in your family? Think about that verb tener, think about your new vocabulary, and formulate your answer in your head right now. You have the tools, the structure, and the visual memory to do this. I highly encourage you to get out into the world and practice your new Spanish mastery immediately.
Excelente! Now you know the most important family vocabulary in Spanish. Which word was new for you? Tell me in the comments and subscribe for more easy Spanish lessons.